This is Sue Craig, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Cleveland, Ohio. And today I'm going to show you a technique. This technique is called whitewashing. The first thing we're going to do is take our embossing buddy and we're going to go over our piece of cardstock. I usually forget to do this, so I set it right on top of my cardstock when I put things out today. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp, and this is a stamp, it's brand new, called Happy Hibiscus, and this is from the online exclusives. We're going to take Versamark ink, which is a clear ink, and we're going to stamp on cardstock, and then we will use white embossing powder on it. Now you can't see that yet, but once I get the embossing powder on it, you will see it. I like to use coffee filters. I keep them in my desk. I put my paper here. This is balmy blue. Excuse me. This is one of my favorite blues. You can use a spoon to do this, or you can just dump the embossing powder on top of it. I like to do it so it's flat, and then I can make sure that I have covered everything. Okay, you can see that. Then what I'm going to do is take my coffee filter and pour it back in here. I know we have trays, but for me the trays are so staticky that I end up having to sweep them with a brush to get the stuff out of them, so I'd rather just use the coffee filter. I found this cool little vacuum cleaner. It's for your desk. So after I do my embossing, I can do that and it cleans up very, very nicely. I'm going to take my reverse tweezers and hold my cardstock. We're going to use the heat tool. Now when you're embossing, you want to turn the heat tool on first and let it heat up. So that's what we're going to do. Many people emboss from the top of the paper, and that's fine. I find sometimes though that when I do emboss from the top, that it blows the embossing powder around so it's all over my desk. So sometimes what I do is I hold the heat tool behind what I'm embossing so that it is heating it from behind, and you can see it's already changing. It doesn't take very long. And I'm moving around, I'll show you this way, I'm moving this heat tool back and forth around the area that I want to emboss. Alright, there we go. So now what we want to do is we want to do the whitewash technique. And in order to do that, I'm going to need one of my aqua painters, or my brush, my aqua brush. And this just has water in the barrel. And I'm going to take one of my blocks and use some of our white ink. Now our white ink is called pigment ink. It's not a water-based ink. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to the block. You can use whatever you want. I happen to have blocks right here. It's quick and easy. So I'm going to squeeze my water brush so I get water, hopefully. When you try to get into these, they screw and unscrew the opposite way of what you think they should. So keep that in mind when you're doing work with these. I remember the first time I got these, I thought they didn't work. All right, so eventually I have my water here. I'm just going to mix this up, and you can see that it's milky. And then I'm just going to take this and paint it on my flowers. So you can see that it's going into the cardstock. You don't have to just do flowers either. I saw a beautiful birthday cake somebody did, and she used 4 colors, I think, 4 different colors. It looked gorgeous. But on this one, I'm going to use 1 color, and I'll show you at the end the sample that I made. Like I said, I'm not going to make the whole card today. I just want to show you the technique so that you can look through your stamps and see what you have and try it for yourself. Okay, this is what you want. You want a milky image. And now I'm going to take my brush and squeeze the water and clean it. And I want to move my brush until I don't have any color left in it. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my heat gun and set this. I want to make sure that it's dry. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on low and then just heat this. It doesn't take very long at all. Now I'm going to take another block and I'm going to take some ink, and I'm using Azure Afternoon. I'm just going to put a drop or 2 here on my block, and I'm going to add water to this as well, hopefully. I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm just going to get water in it and then I'm going to paint. So I'm going to take this and paint. What I'm doing too is I'm starting near the center here where it is going to be darker and then work my way out to where it will be lighter. And you can see that because of the whitewash look, we're not getting just the inky look. It's looking like it's milky. So take a look at that. Isn't that pretty? So what you can do then is to finish coloring these in and then put together a card, and I'll show you what I did with the Happy Hibiscus. This is the one that I made. I used the hybrid folder to do the embossing on this beautiful paper. We have a new paper coming out in January that's plaid, and if it's plaid, I have it in my room. I like plaid. So this hybrid folder will emboss and it will cut. So if you look at this flower, you'll see that it is raised in areas because it has gone through an embossing folder and it was cut out. And then I layered it. I added some leaves and then a sentiment. but you get an idea of how nice your images can be and how different they can look if you try this whitewash technique. Well, I hope you liked the technique. I hope you give it a try, and thanks for watching.